Hey guys, it's Steve here, and what we're going to be doing today is creating this little guy right here. I try to simplify the process as much as possible. I currently am using a tablet to do this, so it may be a little faster than what most people can do with a mouse, but as I state in the video, I prefer using a tablet over a mouse just for, you know, saving your wrist and your finger from clicking too much. I go over the basic concepts of using how I go about making the shadows through the layers and adding and subtracting through the Pathfinder tool. I personally don't like using, the shape builder tool when using a stroke art or stroked art. I only use it pretty much when I'm using art that just involves the fills. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the video and learn from it. Well, so let's get started. Alright guys, let's get this started. The way I'm going to go about doing this is I'm going to start with building the outside of the character first, and then we'll start from the out and go within. The canvas size that I made was just a quick 5x5, and I just downsized the character, so it's not a huge file. I'm using a tablet, or the Cintiq, so I may be going a little bit fast compared to people with a mouse. I would suggest getting a tablet. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. I mean, a $50 one should suffice. The reason is because, I mean, it's easier on your finger. You don't have to worry about getting carpal tunnel along, down the road, and you're just not clicking. And that's one of the main reasons I went with tablets, is because I just don't. To me, it takes longer, and I hate clicking. But other than that, let's get started. So, first thing I'm going to do is just grab the basic pen tool. I normally start with a 3-point stroke when starting my designs. And what we'll do is just get to it and start on the outside. So, I mean, I know a lot of my videos, I don't show how to do the pen tool. I mean, at first all I can tell you, honestly, it's just practice. That's all it is. When I first started using it, I tried using all these tutorials that showed you how to do it. It still didn't make any sense to me when I was trying to learn it. It's just trial and error, and that's the best way you're going to learn from it. From my perspective. The basis behind these small characters that I'm going to start implementing is I want to start doing designs that take, about less than an hour or less to do. And I'm going to incorporate, a few different styles. That way you're just not watching these and seeing the same thing done over and over again. When I do end this right here, what I'm going to do is hold down the Alt button, because I'm using PC, and I'm going to click and just on the end point and just drag it and give it a bit of a curve. So, because we got the base right here for the outline, what I'm going to do is just start cutting out the rest of the character. What I'll do is start up here and just slowly, mask out the skull here. And I don't use a lot of the features in Illustrator. I just use a specific handful. Every once in a while, if I see one I like, I'll pick it up, but for the most part, I don't. I pretty much use just the Pathfinder tool to do a lot of subtracting, because, I mean, you can select this right here and hit Shift M, and you'll get the shape builder tool and hold down Alt, and you'll cut that out. But sometimes I just don't like the way it does it. I mean, it's personal preference. But for using the Pathfinder tool, because here's the reason why, is because not every version of Illustrator has the same features, and that's why I'm doing it this way, the straightforward approach. So, I mean, the features that I use should be pretty much standard on not every version of Illustrator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this background here, or the body, and hit Control-C to copy it. And what we'll do is we'll grab both, go down to Pathfinder, and go to Intersect. And I'm going to push Control and F to paste that body back in place, and Control Shift left bracket to throw it in the back. So I mean, the more you get used to doing the Pathfinder, I find it faster than like it's all personal preference. I like it. I find it faster, and I have more control over it than the shape builder tool. Because I get asked a lot why I don't use the shape builder tool. I'll use the shape builder tool when I'm just working with fills. I have no problem doing that, but with strokes, I prefer the Pathfinder tool. Alright, so I've got the base of the body down, and we'll do these little hands right here quick. And Control Shift left bracket to toss that in the back. And just for safe measures, we'll grab the body, Control C to copy it, then grab both, and then we'll go over to Pathfinder and hit the minus, then Control F to paste that in place, and Control Shift left bracket to throw it in the back. Now for this little patch here, or the X, what I'll do is I'll just grab the rounded rectangle, and then I'll just copy and place or paste that in front with Control C, then Control F, and just switch over to V. I'll miss that. I'll just twist it. I'll just grab both and go Pathfinder and add them both together, and I'll just rotate it and put it in place. And we'll do the eye over here. Grab the ellipse. Make it a little bit smaller. And we'll rotate that. And I'm going to hold down Alt and drag it over. I'll select the original one, copy that, and then we'll select both of these and go over to intersect. Then Control F and paste that in front, and Control left bracket to throw it in the back. I'm still debating on whether, you know what, I'll do it, screw it. What we're gonna do is we'll do this inner circle here. I wasn't intending on doing it, but you know, the more you learn, the better you are. And we'll just do the same thing we did to the eye up here. Make an ellipse, hold down Alt and drag it over. Grab the main, select both, and we'll go to intersect. Then Control F to paste that back in front. Now what we're going to run to here is the issue that, well, I'm not too worried about it, to be honest, because I'm not worried about the background behind it, so we'll just leave it as is. So let's do this heart right here. Hold on Alt to close that. Let's move this around to somewhat level it out. Alright, well, since I'm not worried about cutting the heart out of the rest of this, because I'll just color it, and, well, actually, you know what? Yeah, we will. Just for coloring purposes. So grab the heart, copy it, and then grab this piece here, and go to minus and cut it out, and Control Alt to paste that heart back in there. Let me straighten this out right here. Alright, so what we got here is this is pretty much the base right here. At this point right here, you know, I'll label this as base. And I'll create a new layer. And what I'll do is I'll duplicate the base layer. You'll see in my other tutorials if you didn't watch those first. I'll put the copy up here, and I'll label this expanded. The reason I do this, it's a lot easier for the method of doing the detailing for the fills. So be sure to select these. Select the expanded, then go to Object, Expand, Fill and Stroke. And what we'll do is, because this is all selected still, we'll go over to the Pathfinder and hit Unite. Let's do it a couple times just to be on the safe side. So what that did was, it made this whole thing right here one solid piece. So now you could either go, this is up to you. If you didn't want to do it the way I'm going to do it, is you could always go to Object, Live Paint, and Make. And then K is the shortcut to the Live Paint bucket. And simply just color it in like that. Which, I mean, that would work for, if I did that, I would actually duplicate the expanded and then do it to the copy of the expanded, but still keep the space one, hide it, just so you have those paths originally if you want to make any alterations to it. But I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way. And the reason I'm doing it this way is when we start doing these details right here, what you're going to see is, if we did it this way without the expanded, I do it. I mean, I still do it this way, but the issue that you run into is it's easier for the pen tool to snap up against this line right here if it's expanded as a fill instead of being a stroke. Because if it's a stroke, you're going to have to eyeball the majority of that. So let's get started on this. Actually, what I'm going to do though is I will delete this expanded really quick. I just realized a mistake I made. I want to make all these endpoints rounded, so I'm gonna round them off because when we do the stroke, it's a hit or miss. It may just make it all jagged looking, and the stroke may end out here for the outline that we're going to add to the character. But if it's rounded, it's going to be uniform around it. So duplicate the base again and move this one up to the top, and go to Object, Expand, and then go over to Unite. And we should be set. And I spelled details wrong. How about that? Alright. So what we're doing here is make sure you don't have a fill, or excuse me, a stroke, and we're just going to be doing the fill. And we'll just be adding in some minor details. See, like, this is the thing, this is the right reason why you do the expanding, because it snaps right to the side here. And that might be too much. And I usually try to keep it consistent when I bring it in, instead of bringing it in really close, like narrow like this. I usually try to keep it the width of the actual stroke line. It's just something I do. You don't have to do it that way, but, you know, make your own style out of it. And for the character itself, I'm going to go with an off black gray. I'm not going to go completely black with it, because we're going to do a little bit of shading to this character too. And for him right here, what we'll do, excuse me, is we're going to switch back over to stroke and make that 3 points. And we'll do the hand really quick in here. And we'll go to Object, Expand, and come over here to the Direct Selection tool, the white arrow. Click off of this, and then come over here and click on one of the endpoints and slowly drag it over and overlap it. Alright, we should be good with that. Now, what I'm going to do is I also tend to make a copy of the base for the colors. Like I said, I always like to have a blank version of what I'm working on in case I have to make any changes. And what we're going to do is select the body. And what we'll do is we'll go with a dark gray. And I'm going to do a Control-Shift left bracket to make sure that's behind everything. And what we're going to do is grab the skull, and we'll go with an off, you know, right about there. No. Yeah, we'll go about there with it. Make sure that's in the back too. The eye patch, we'll just go with black. Inside the eye, go with black, and this right here, we'll go with the darker gray. Grab that, press I, and just grab that. And let's see, for the inside, crap. We'll just black. Grab that piece and we'll just make that white so you can see like you're seeing through it, and grab the heart and go with red. Alright. So what I'm going to do is lock that. And then I'll go create a new layer right underneath the details. And we'll label the shadows. Now, there's multiple ways you can do this. I mean, like, if you're using a pen or, you know, a tablet like I am, you can do it really quick with the pencil tool. If not, you're going to have to do it with the pen and just, you know, take your time. But I'm going to knock out get rid of the stroke, and then I'm going to click black. What we're going to end up doing is knocking this whole layer down to 30%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here. And I'm just going to drag it through here. Then select this little circle here. Then just go up to opacity and knock it down to around 30. Should do. I'll make a shadow in here too. Oops, sorry about that. There might be another one coming later. Alright. A lot of time, I just for my style, I don't put a lot of detail into I don't really worry about light sources that much. I mean, that's, you know, how that's my style is. I personally like, you know, I like something different. I don't stick, you know, to the standards. So really quick. I mean, after you drop the opacity down this layer, everything's gonna select the opacity. Everything's gonna be 30%, no matter what you put down in here. And this is just a a cheap way to do shadows to keep everything consistent, because I mean it's a lot easier doing this than it is for every color that. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing after we finish this right here, which is only a couple more things. But we're going to do it with white. So I'll lock the shadows layer. And just need this one light. Select white. Now, the reason for the expand layer on top also is for a cover up for doing the shadows and highlights. So if you go beyond the stroke, the top expanded will cover that for you. So let's see, we'll start right here. Go back over to light and knock down to 30. We'll do this here too. Finish the hand off. Yeah, let's just toss something on the heart here. Now, if you wanted to, I mean, you could easily create another layer, drop it down to 30 or 40, and go over here too for a second layer of shadows and highlights. But I, for the most part, I try to keep it simple. For something especially as small as this. And by no means, if you feel like the shadows or the highlights aren't dark enough or light enough, you can easily up or lower the opacity of the layer itself too. Alright, so here's this right here. I mean, for the most part, we're done. Well, we could actually... What you'd have to do if you wanted to add such as, or, you know, highlights on top of this right here, this pad, or the X, you'd have to actually create a layer above all these. Just lights too. And then just do the same process. Hold down Alt and drag. Do 40 on this one. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this base right here, and we're just going to drag it down and copy it. And select, excuse me, select the whole thing. And we're going to go to Unite. And just hit that a few times. I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to throw fill in this for white for this specifically for behind right here. And I'm going to select the stroke, and I always go to align stroke on the outside. And right here, you can press Control H right here. Well, actually, it's not going to do anything, but just push up or down on your keyboard for how thick you want the stroke to be around the character. That might be too much, but you know, it's totally up to you. If you were to go this route here, then what I would do is I would select and duplicate the outline stroke, and we're just going to repeat the same process, because what I'm going to do is, you know, just add a few drips right here, and I'm going to select it and go to Object, Expand, and Add. So this is just, like I said, an easier way for you to connect off the outside of the fill. So I'll do is go over here and create a few drip marks. Start then and go big. Now connect to the side right here and connect to the side right here. Do the same on this side. This hand over here have a drip on it, so bust out the little ellipse tool. Go back to pen. Click there, hold Shift, and then go inside a little bit, and then click and slowly angle it out. And do the same to this side too. And then you just close these two, or join those two together. Now, I mean, you can go here and, you know, unite them, but it's totally up to you. And we'll do the same over here as we did to the other side. So, I mean, as you hear from everybody in every tutorial, feel free to play around, you know. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. So I hope this helped you. And from here, like really quick, you can select all this if you want to and add it all together. But like I said, it's personal preference. It's up to you. But I mean, we did this within half an hour, so time and practice. That is the truth. And I mean, you'll get proficient with it just practicing or messing around with it. But again, I thank you for your support and sticking around to watch these. In the meantime, have a good one.